We've talked a lot about goaltending on Locked on Kraken, and I'm here to tell you we're going to keep that trend alive as we got word for who will start against the Colorado Avalanche. Here's a little hint. It will not be a revenge game for Philipp Grubauer. All that and more coming up on this episode of Locked on Kraken.
You are Locked on Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Hello, Seattle hockey fans. Welcome again to Locked on Kraken. We thank you for making Locked on Kraken one of your first listens of the day. We are part of the Locked on Podcast Network and free and available anywhere and everywhere you listen to podcasts. And of course, we are available on YouTube. We're getting on a nice little group of folks that's commenting on the YouTube videos. So if you can't find us or you don't want to find us on social media at Locked on Kraken, if you don't want to hit me up at elindsay08, then come join the party over on YouTube. So I waited to do this video until we got word who would start. I will be honest, in waiting for this video, in waiting to get word, there has been a lot of other stuff happening in the world. I am going to try to bring the energy. That's what I like to do on this show. But I'm going to keep it real about how I'm feeling. But I'm leaning on my Seattle Kraken family to make me focus on the good things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict came down. And so I'm not going to lie. I am pulling out all of the stops to bring the energy, but it's going to be a pretty tight show so that I can reflect on what's happening in the world. I wanted to acknowledge that for those who also are finding it a little bit difficult to focus today. But we are going to get into Seattle Kraken news, as I mentioned at the top of the show. And just a few moments ago, we got word on who will start in net. Here is Dave Haxtell from Morning Skate just today.
You only get two questions, that's three. Which two do you want me to answer? Driedger will start in net. Just a maintenance day for Gordy. And the only lineup change will be on the blue line. Susie will go in for Fleury. Well, every goaltender's a little bit different, right? Their styles are different, so I'm not really looking for for true technical things. I leave that to Andrew and to the goaltenders, but just his overall poise, presence in net, looking comfortable, and those are all things that as you come off of off of a long injury, as he came off of a rehab process, they take time to work back towards, and he's been able to he had the benefit of the game in Vegas and some good practices since then, so this is a good time for him to go back in net.
Hey there. Sorry about that. How about now? Okay. All right, that's unfortunate. Okay. I'll start from the top. So we just heard Dave Haxtell, and he was saying that Chris Driedger will get the start. And I'm good with this. Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. For those not listening or not watching on YouTube, I'm getting an assist on YouTube. All right, here we go. Now we have audio. We're good to go. We're good to go. Yes, so Chris Driedger is going to get the start. I talked about Philipp Grubauer's stats. The NHL has a stat where you can see how goalies perform after 1 day rest, 2 day rest, 3 day rest, and then 4+ days. Philipp Grubauer is best. His absolute best performance is on 2 days rest. And so what I was just saying is, although the storyline obviously is the revenge game for Philipp Grubauer, which is not actually exactly the same, but Gruby used to play for the Colorado Avalanche. The Colorado Avalanche are coming to Climate Pledge Arena, and Grubauer will not be in net. Obviously, a lot of people are focused on that storyline, but if you look at the stats, and we went over them yesterday on yesterday's show, I understand this. Honestly, Grubauer has needed rest. I don't know if it's a physical thing. I don't know if it's a mental thing. Obviously, this entire team at one point and another has to let that idea of being a little bit deflated enter their mind. Dave Haxtell said that he is having conversations with all of his players, but he has had conversations with Philipp Grubauer. He was asked, what are those conversations? To which his response was, and he is nothing if not consistent here, private conversations are going to stay private. So that's what we're hearing. That's what we're seeing from the Seattle Kraken. I was also talking about, I'm going to be honest, folks, we're going to keep this show pretty tight. The Kyle Rittenhouse verdict is definitely something that's at the top of my mind, and is a bit of a distraction right before I'm actually headed out to Florida a little bit later, shortly here, because I'm calling Premier Hockey Federation women's hockey. So we're going to keep this nice and tight. As always, thank you for listening to Locked On Kraken. And I'm gonna keep as much energy as I can, but I just want to acknowledge and honor that some people are having a very difficult time given the news, and that within the context of our society here in the United States. So I wanted to honor that. I feel like that's probably what I was saying. I know we had a little bit of an audio issue. Okay, so here we go. Colorado Avalanche versus the Seattle Kraken. Here's what we know. The power play for the Colorado Avalanche, they are at 19.6% efficiency and effectiveness. That is 16th in the National Hockey League comparative to the almost worst power play in the National Hockey League. 12.5% efficiency for the Seattle Kraken. Also really good on the penalty kill is Colorado. They're 10th overall in the league at 85.3%. We are within the top 20 at 18th. Face-offs favor the Colorado Avalanche, but just slightly. And again, it's Driedger with an .833 save percentage, an 0-1-0 record. We don't know for sure, or at least I haven't seen at the time of this recording, who is going to start in net for the Colorado Avalanche. We'll see what happens there. We also got word that Yanni Gourde, a little bit of a maintenance. You heard that. Also, it's Susie for Fleury, excuse me. Those two defenders seem to be coming in and out of the roster for Seattle. Not exactly sure what Dave Haxtell's looking for there. Fleury got beat, a handful of times in that last game. So, against Chicago. So is it surprising? Not entirely, no. If we look at the Western Conference standings, the Seattle Kraken are second to last, only to Arizona. But remember, we lost to them too. And then Vancouver and Chicago are just above us. Dallas and Chicago just above them. So in theory, we could perhaps do something with this team, with Colorado, with a 7-5-1 record, but we're at 4-11-1. We're at 4-11-1. We still haven't gotten double-digit points on the season. So needless to say, it's an uphill climb for the Seattle Kraken. Coming up next on Locked On Kraken, I want to tell you a little bit about an NHL roundtable that's happening, especially because, again, my mind is kind of on ways that we as a society can be better. So on Monday, I was able to host a roundtable. I feel like I've talked about that before on the show, so we'll get into that a little bit more. But now it's time for me to tell you about Built Bar. The holiday season is coming up, so I have a work trip, and then from Florida, I'm heading back home, and I'm excited because I have some Built Bars waiting for me at home, because it is the perfect time for Built Bars. It's the new holiday dessert, and I'm leaning in full to this. Did you know that a slice of pie has upwards of 300 calories as compared to a Built Bar, which only has 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and plenty of protein? Not to mention my favorite part, it's covered in chocolate. It is a great option for when you're hungry. It's a great option for when you're about to get hangry. It also is a great way to get a few really cool new flavors for the holiday season. All of this month, Built Bar is going to be releasing limited time favors at built.com. So make sure you are checking regularly. Again, that's built.com. And while you're there, we want to make sure once you place your order that you get a promo code. You're going to get 15% off your next order at built.com when you use promo code LOCKED15. That's LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Happy snacking. All right, folks, we just had the Chicago Blackhawks in town, and we, as a Locked On NHL team, have been talking a lot about what's been happening off of the ice with the Chicago Blackhawks. So we did a roundtable. We actually did 2. The first recording was a little bit, we just needed to redo it for some technical issues. Anyway, so I was honored to be joined by actually people that you've heard on Locked On Kraken, because I've done squadcasts with all of them. And from Locked On Predators, we had Jay from Locked On Blue Jackets. We had Rachel from Locked On Devils, and me. And Armando also joined us from Locked On Panthers for the first recording. And we were talking about the greater implications of what has been happening. John Doe, now we know as Kyle Beach, and the 107-page report regarding the multiple times that the Chicago Blackhawks didn't take an opportunity to protect Kyle Beach, and thus John Doe too, who is a teenager, we know now, and whose mother has been speaking to the media, and, trigger warning. But if you haven't been following the news about the Chicago Blackhawks, that is talking about sexual assault and abuse. And we had a pretty intense conversation. I was very thankful to be able to have a conversation about the hockey community. That's not just X's and O's. Sometimes you have to talk about what is going on in hockey culture. And unfortunately, there's a lot of toxicity in hockey culture. So for Monday we have a channel, or we have a marquee at Locked On Podcast called Locked On Presents. And we use Locked On Presents when we want to have bigger conversations. I've been on Locked On Presents to talk about being a Black woman in sports media, and Candace Cooper over at Locked On ACC joined me for that. That was fantastic. And again, I talked about a verdict earlier today that's happening, and there are people that can't separate themselves. Even though I'm so excited for the Seattle Kraken game tonight, I was so excited to be on a planning call with Black Girl Hockey Club, but I can't ignore what's happening. And so Locked On Presents is a space where those of us who are in the Locked On podcast network, in this case, as part of Locked On NHL, that's where we get to talk about some topics that, again, are not the X's and O's. It's not the action that's on the ice, but definitely has implications to what is going on in hockey and hockey culture. So it's we don't go into the details of the report, and again, what some of the unfortunate, just really bad, terrible things that were done to Kyle Beach and John Doe too. We don't get into that, just for those who might want to listen in, and I hope you do listen in. We don't get into those specifics. We're more talking about how did that information, how did the reporting impact us as hockey fans and as hockey podcast hosts? How do we talk about what's happening in hockey? And Armando was interesting when we spoke to him because the Panthers were somewhat involved in the news cycle around the NHL in the past several weeks, month or so. And so, yeah, difficult conversation, but necessary conversation. I'm not going to shy away. I'm a woman in hockey. I am a Black woman in hockey. And yeah, when things like a verdict of not guilty for a teenager carrying an automatic assault rifle, shoots two people, when that news comes down, I automatically think of Tamir Rice, who was 12 years old, playing in the park with his younger sister and was shot dead for playing with a toy gun, wasn't arrested, no questions asked. The shooting was caught on a video camera that was in the park, and no one had to account for that wrongful death. So yeah, I can't think about other things for much longer. Those things are a part of my life, and I bring a lot of my life to Locked On Kraken, and I love doing that. This is a part of my life, and it's a part of the life of a lot of people who are Kraken fans, who are hockey fans. And so we're going to talk about it. Coming up next, though, on Locked On Kraken, I do want to give you what I like to call the balm. So I'm having a tough time dealing with this news. What do I do to get myself focused? What do I do to make sure that I am able to, as much as possible, protect my peace? Well, I'll tell you. And the great thing is that that is also hockey related. So that's coming up next on Locked On Kraken. But now I'm going to tell you about betonline.ag that helps keep the lights on, if you will. It's back and better than ever with a new web interface for the start of basketball and football and, of course, hockey season. And even with all that newness, BetOnline remains your number one spot for all of the basketball and football action this season. It's available, of course, on your mobile device, on your tablet, and on your desktop. And when you sign up today and use promo code LOCKEDON, you will receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code, again, LOCKED ON, to receive your 50% welcome bonus. Whether we're talking the NHL like we are today, or basketball, football, the UFC, or even your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all of the amazing offers available in 2021. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. I've said this before on the show. Where the game has started for me is my sister got really into hockey, and then I saw Blake Bolden on the ice. We had her on the show, Blake Bolden, who is a scout with the Los Angeles Kings. And then eventually I found a group called Black Girl Hockey Club. And Black Girl Hockey Club has partnered with the Seattle Kraken. When I had my old setup, I had my Locked On Kraken my Seattle Kraken and Black Girl Hockey Club crossover hat. I had that up there for a little while there. But on two occasions, the Seattle Kraken have partnered with Black Girl Hockey Club to do a special merch drop. Now, I got the hat. I did not get the sweater. I was a little bit bummed about that. But why am I mentioning Black Girl Hockey Club? Because, again, today it is tough for me. It's going to remain tough for me. It was tough to record that roundtable that will come out next week. It was tough to get the news today, but I actually did have a conversation. I was just on a call with Black Girl Hockey Club, and we were talking about the future of hockey and ways that we weren't even talking about racism on the call. And we weren't talking about equity and inclusion when it comes to gender and race, which a lot of people kind of default to when you have a group that's called Black Girl Hockey Club. We were talking about accessibility. And Chanel Keenan I'm a huge fan of hers. She's a big supporter of the show and has been on the show before. And we were talking from an accessibility standpoint. I've mentioned probably in passing that I really try to put captions on everything that I do because, some people are like, Erica, what the heck are you talking about? How are all of these things related? They are, because it's about acceptance of who you are and acceptance of that regardless of your ability, capability, skin color, gender expression. We are all here in this space. We have occupied this shared space together because we're hockey fans. We're hockey fans. And I think it's a beautiful thing that women, and not just women, but Black women engaged me in the sport of hockey. And now here I am, I'm calling games on ESPN Plus, and I have a podcast talking about 32nd NHL team. That's beautiful. And that's what happens when we're inclusive. And so I have had situations where people had to be like, Erica, I love what you stand for and what you're talking about, but you're not inclusive in these ways. And that can be difficult to hear. And that's why Black Girl Hockey Club has what they call #GetUncomfortable. And right now we've been talking about the get uncomfortable in the workplace. So that's everything from, do we have accessibility? Are we requiring things that are not absolutely necessary, but by requiring them, we actually eliminate certain people from even applying to jobs. So it's been really cool to see and to feel supported by Black Girl Hockey Club, but then also have the opportunity to give support. I'm an able-bodied, cisgender person in this space. And there are things that I go about my day-to-day life and I don't think twice about. There are certain things that I say, places that I go, and I feel 100% comfortable, such as a women's locker room. And I don't think about it, but that's not the experience for everyone. And so sometimes it's okay to be like, wait, I don't understand. Like, why aren't you comfortable in this space? It's natural to think that. I think it all the time. Anytime I'm confronted with, if I'm being honest, the privilege that I do have, because I do have privilege in certain spaces and because of certain things that I've done and where I'm from, the fact that I speak English, or the fact that I understand Spanish for that matter. So I just think it's important. And I want you all to just check out Black Girl Hockey Club and think about getting uncomfortable. There are people that are hurting because of what's happening with Chicago and that Kyle Beach has come forward and that John Doe 2's mother is speaking. There are people hurting. There are people who would love to go to Climate Pledge Arena or to go see a Boston Bruins game. But are they going to be accommodated with their wheelchair or anything else that they need? Maybe they don't speak English, but they love watching hockey. Yeah, that's a thing. How are we engaging these fans? And so Black Girl Hockey Club is not the only place, but it's the one place that always makes me feel better. Not just because it's somewhere that I feel included, but also because it's a place that I know is focused on encouraging and including as many people as possible. So this was a little bit of a different vibe to today's show. It also went live on YouTube. And listen, I see a comment that this isn't necessarily the place, but it is. Yeah, it is the place. it is absolutely the place to have this conversation, because you know what? I'm here and I'm bringing this conversation here. It is the place to have a conversation about how people are treated. It is the place to have a conversation about how we can make hockey better for everyone. It is the place. It is the place for that. Now, is it tough? Did I want to come on here and talk about this? I was like, no, Erica, you gotta like, bolster all that energy. I've been getting so much love from you all because you pick up the vibe that I love being energetic. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know how to be that person today without being real, because that's who I always am. You know, I have a lot of fun. I say a lot of jokes, and that's who I am. But this is me too. And today's been a little tough. This week has been a little tough. And I have to be honest with you. I always will be honest with you. I'm honest when I don't know things. I'm honest when I'm very biased, defense, on things. I'm always going to be honest with you. And so today I had to be honest. And yeah, had to get a little uncomfortable even for myself. And I understand not everyone wants to be there. I don't always want to put captions on things. It's extra work. I got to do this. I got to do that. But you know what? That's my privilege talking, because I don't need captions. So I'm like, oh, don't worry about that. And if we're being honest, when we don't want to have certain conversations, sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's because that's not what we need. And hear me on this. You have every right to protect your peace. Please, I want you to be happy. I want you to be healthy. I want you to succeed in life. And sometimes these are not things that are going to equal to that. That being said, sometimes holding on is not healthy either. It doesn't lead to success. And so it's about striking that balance. So it was a different vibe. Thank you. I hope that you can understand and at least appreciate why it was a different vibe for today. And you know what? We're just going to keep doing what you can do. Kind of like the Seattle Kraken. We're doing the best that we can. Is that exactly what the Seattle Kraken is doing? I don't know. That's what we've been talking about all week. But as always, thank you for listening to the Seattle. I mean, it was even tough for me to get through ad reads today. It just feels like a weird vibe. So thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for letting me know there was a little bit of an audio issue. I'll try to clean that. I will clean that up for the edited video when it goes up. Yeah, I get that. I hear you. And that's okay. Like I said, we have to protect and honor each other. Didn't go full in, but for me, the comfortable thing was to at least mention it. But I'll clean that up. So this will be available on video, not just through the live stream, and also for audio for those folks who are listening on audio. But truly, I appreciate you all so much. I can't overstate that. I told you I'm going to keep it real. Y'all make me smile even when I'm in here and my audio is conking out or the lights are bothering me and I got to get my blue light glasses. Y'all energize me even when the Seattle Kraken can't get past 5 wins. Y'all energize me. I hope you're having as much fun as I do. We are going to challenge each other. I'm going to get better on advanced stats. I'm going to convert everyone to believing that defense is the most important thing. And sometimes we'll take a little bit of a pause to talk about the greater hockey community. So we're going to leave it there for today. Hold fast, stay true, and let's go Kraken. I'm going to be traveling, but I will make sure follow me on social media and the show, of course, because I will have post-game reactions for you. And of course, getting us ready for the games over the weekend. All right, folks, that's all we've got for now. Thanks so much. And truly, please take care of yourselves and each other.